All right, good evening. As kind of expected, a thin crowd this evening, but that's okay. As all of you heard as you came in, we are recording this session and it shall be posted to our website within a day or two, right, Jay?
Yep, maybe tonight. Depends on how long we go.
Maybe even tonight. How's that for service?
We may
All
have
right.
posted it already. We're not even sure yet. YouTube is kind of slow, so we'll see.
Okay. We're not going to do, if you saw Spaceballs, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We call them plaid. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, good evening. My name is Craig Peterman, program delivery partner for the state of Wisconsin FLL programs. And we've got almost our entire brain trust here tonight. That's awesome. Brian Farrell and Brian Hicks as our head judges, and Allison Conrad and Jay Church as our head referees. So, again, we'll have the meeting as if we have an audience of 100. It'll get posted. We'll get some views. And certainly, if there are any questions that aren't answered here tonight, you can email me at fllteams@badgerbots.org, and or go to the Slack channel. If it's about like coaching and game and rules, you're better off going to the Slack channel, in all honesty. But if it's about advancements, sectionals, administration, obviously I'd be the person for that. So just real briefly, we had two more regionals this past weekend. Marquette 1 Saturday, Marquette 2 on Sunday. And we advanced 10 teams from Saturday and another 7, I believe
Seven.
it is,
7, yeah.
from Sunday. So that leaves 3 regionals left. We got Brown County coming up on December 7th. Thank you, Nick, for joining us. We'll ask you to come back next Monday too, by the way. And then on Saturday, we have a new regional for Wisconsin at Whitewater High School, I believe it is. And then we will have our final regional at Riverside University High School in Milwaukee. That's on Tuesday, December 10th. Trying something a little different this year. We'll have to evaluate whether it works or not, and see what we do for next year on that one. So the season continues, and as you saw in the newsletter, a lot of the sectional spots have been filled. So again, the 3 remaining regionals, we will fill those remaining spots. Congratulations to all the teams that won awards and advanced, and then those that didn't. And now's the time to start thinking about, well, next year already, or if you want to continue on. I haven't heard from Amy Hardy if the Robo Rumble is going to occur this year. So I will reach out to her and see if we want to get going on that. Last couple of years in Oshkosh, Amy Hardy has had the Robo Rumble. So there are opportunities after the official season is over. Not too many of them, but there are some available. So with that, let's see. Let's go to the judges. Brian and Brian, anything you would like to share?
Nothing major. I'll put a plug in for if your season's over, come judge. We're always looking for judges, and it's a great way to learn what the judging process is like, and and help a lot of people really feel it helps make a better coach having had judged. So we recommend it, and so do other judges or other coaches that have done it.
Yeah. And don't volunteer for the tournament that your team is participating in. Choose another one.
No, support your team.
For those teams that didn't advance, we do have 2 sectionals on the same day, December 14th. So there's an opportunity to really step up and see what does it take to advance. Be a judge at those particular sectionals. And then Waukesha, of course, is the week later, December 21st. So yeah, we always want to be training new judges.
Well, I even saw today the discussion on the Slack channel. I know it's not my turn here, but I'm going to bring in that discussion that we were looking at earlier, Brian. So teams that get eliminated, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with being eliminated. That's great. I mean, teams get eliminated, but they're looking for things to do in the off season. They're looking for ways to get better, especially newer teams and they're saying, how can we get better? Like what can we do? You know, we can do this in the off season. We can get different mats. We can practice and meet more. And you know, I told them there as well, and I'm happy to every call we say this. If you want to be better for your team as a coach, take the time, volunteer, and judge. It really is super beneficial. I mean, it's not just what we say to get volunteers. It really is helpful. You get to understand how the rubrics are read. You can see the rubric and you can see how FIRST is telling you that rubrics are used. But when you're in the room with these judges and you understand what they're actually looking for, you understand the questions that they're asking, you understand kind of what they're looking for in the answers. It is super beneficial. So I'll say again, the number one thing you can do as a coach to make yourself a better coach, volunteer to judge. Coming from a referee, volunteer to judge. So that's my spiel.
And it's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, that too.
And you get volunteer food.
Yeah.
I will also add that, and I think I saw some of this on the Slack channel, we do have plenty of prior year season sets, mission sets, both the missions and the mat. So, you know, we do try to recoup some of our costs, but if you're interested in buying prior seasons to keep the kids interested, doing something different, the going rate is $15 for used sets. And these are sets that were used during the competition in prior seasons. $15 for used. And I have a handful of still in-box brand new sets. Those go for $30. So somebody told me you can find them on eBay and other sources for much higher than that.
$100 minimum. Yep.
Okay. So we have a lot of them. Supply and demand. So we have the supply. I'm looking for the demand. 15 or $30 per set.
It's worth that for the Legos. I mean, the
Yeah,
Technic pieces, the
yeah.
wheels, the beams, the gear. I mean, it's worth that for just the Lego.
Yeah.
Not
So
only
that
that-
is the mats and the models, though.
Yes,
It's
correct.
not just one. It is both. That was a question asked in the chat.
Yep.
I've seen the stash.
They do kind of go together. One, you know, you need them both. Yep. So
As a multi-year coach, if you're coaching, going to plan on coaching another year, all those pieces you get, you can reuse them. And there are some really cool pieces you can get from those mission models that you might not find normally. So
yeah. All right. Any questions from the coaches directed to the judges, head judges, excuse me. If not, we'll move on to our referees, head referees. Jay, Allison, what'd you learn this weekend?
Well, so I'm just going to go through just one or two things, Allison, then you can take over. I'm just going to go through the stuff we had on Slack while we were in tournament. Oh, by the way, so if you're a coach from Marquette, you should have your score sheets by now. Look in your email. If you don't see it, it might be in your spam, but you should have your score sheets sent to you by now. The one thing I wanted to go over that we were seeing on Slack while we were in tournament is people were just questioning where you can launch, as far as can you be into the home area, what's considered the launch area. So the launch area is the quarter circle area on the left and the right side of the mat. And when you're launching your robot, and there's really no such thing as attachments, but what we call attachments, all have to be in that quarter circle area. There is the home area beside it to the left and to the right ends of the mat, but you can't launch from that area. And so what that means is if you have an arm off the back of your robot that hangs over a wall or hangs over into the home area, we're going to ask you guys to move your robot forward so you're completely contained in the launch area. We won't let the robot launch at tournament if you're hanging over the wall or hanging into the home area. So just be aware of where your launch areas are. Jigs can extend, and I'm saying they can extend into the home area. Oh, let me switch that over. There you go. Thank you for sharing, Brian, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So the jigs can extend into the home area through the launch area to the wall. They can't go over the wall. It's the interior of the wall. There you go, like Brian's cursor there. So your jigs can extend to that area. You can hold your jig down. I'm saying you can, CAN, as long as whatever you're holding down is not intended to launch. So that's all I have. Allison, take it away.
I was pulling up the rules I wanted to talk about while you were talking. You finished a little bit faster than I anticipated.
I know I'm usually long-winded, but
Yeah,
Tell me
that's
which
okay.
rule you want. I'll go to it.
Can you get a page 18, rule 17 for me?
that's a good one.
Yeah, so I did judge this wrong initially. I called this wrong on the boards this past weekend. So I want to bring it up because I think it's an interesting situation. We had a Teams robot go and retrieve the coral tree. So robot was launched. It left the launch area, grabbed the coral tree, and was flinging it around trying to get back into the home base. They were in contact with that coral tree. Robot was fully in home, but the coral tree was not, and the robot was grabbed. And so what the correct situation there was that the coral tree came off the board by the referee, and they lose a precision token for that. I think that is 17. That's what I was trying to read through before you finished up, Jay. It's 17 or 18. But I had originally ruled that as the robot was fully in home, it's not a touch penalty, but because it was dragging one of the mission models back with it, and that had not gotten fully into home, it is still a touch token in that situation. So just something to be mindful of. We don't see it that often, so it was interesting to see that one happen this weekend. The only other one I wanted to bring up is the send over the submersible mission. We have been trying several different methods to make this model play nice this season. My folks who were at earlier tournaments this year might remember the 2x4 that we tried jamming between tables. Just an FYI to coaches, and we are going to make this clear in coaches meetings and make it consistent on the practice tables. When you are setting up your the base pieces for the submersible, the parts with the Velcro on them, the wireframe has a range of where we are allowed to put it. There's arrows. We will be setting these up with the base as close to the middle of the mat as possible. What we have found is that this eliminates a lot of the issues with this model behaving. And it hasn't seemed to have impacted teams too much, which is a really good thing to see. And the model is behaving, which is, both good. But just something to be aware of. If your robot attempts this from a certain angle, you might want to make sure that you know how you're setting up that mission, because it could be impacting how your robot is running. I think that's all I had for tonight.
Is there a way we can show that with the field mat?
It's tricky in the rule book.
I mean, I'm assuming
If they don't have the
what
markers on
lines
here.
you're talking about.
Can you zoom in a lot?
There's a
Do they not
wireframe.
have any of the wireframes?
There's a wireframe somewhere. I think it's on the I think the wireframe is on the challenge material.
It's on a different document.
Yeah, I switched it away from the view there.
Yeah, it's really not on there, huh?
I thought I.
Jay, if I remember right, it takes about a 3/4 inch board between a 2x4 built competition table, still with the piece maxed out in order to get to stand 90 degrees.
Yeah, so at your tournament, Nick, you guys use your own tables. So yeah, a 3/4 inch gap between the shared wall if it's 2x4 or 2x3. On not concerning you, but other Wisconsin tournaments, the rest of the Wisconsin tournaments, our tables actually are built where they have a 3/4 inch or so gap that we can still lag our tables together. So I don't think
Okay.
we're going to need to put 2x4s on ours, but yeah, I think it's 3/4 of an inch, Nick.
Wireframe was good. I found it.
I just checked the field setup guide and it's not actually in that. So
Yeah, we got it here.
Are you
It's-
still seeing my screen?
yeah.
Okay. So
Oh yeah, that's
the very
the
top.
top one.
There you go.
this
Yeah.
one here. Hang
I
on.
want-
See these arrows here is what you're talking about?
Yeah. So those are the variants that we are allowed to set the model up per first, which I will reserve my comments on my thoughts about that. But for the sake of our tournaments and your robots trying to get your mission scored, that little line that's the most inward towards the middle of the mat, that will be where the edge of the model is set up.
Right.
So this one here.
Yes.
So that coupled with the 3/4 inch gap, Nick, is what gives you about the inch and a quarter that's
Correct.
needed to line that up properly.
Yep.
But Allison's comment is meant more for teams that have a solo table, because the natural inclination there is to line it up with a full wireframe, where it sits completely. So what she's saying, rightfully so, is if you're playing on a solo table, move that back to right where Brian's cursor is there. That's how the tables will be set up.
Okay.
That's a good catch, Allison. That really does impact. I mean, you're talking 1/4 inch to 3/8 there. I mean, it's
Yeah, trust me, if we had any way around having to have variance in how a model is set up, we would be doing so, but this seems to be the best balance for everyone's sake from a tournament and a team that we have found so far. And it has saved us from taking them to a bandsaw in the season, which is
Kinda.
probably preferable, mostly.
A band.
right. I will.
Can you one of you whip together a quick little tips from the ref so that we can add it to the newsletter next week?
Sure. I actually have one. I've been meaning to send for 3 or 4 weeks. So
Oh, okay. Must have been an important tip.
yeah. I
Well,
mean,
this
they
was
are, but
Yep.
one's just as important as the other. As we get closer to.
Yep.
I guess one thing that we did see again, Allison, as well, we're still having a lot of issue with kids that, or teams and coaches that really don't understand how to get the robot from one side to the other, and we're still seeing that a lot, even deep into the season here. So I'll share with you guys again the ways, and I believe this isn't one of the tips and tricks, on how to get the robot from one side to the other. So you can. Let's say your robot has returned to the red, or you're starting off in the red area and you want to go to the blue area. So how can we get that over there? There's a couple things we can do. You can have a transition program, just a straight drive forever, as Allison says, that just go from one side to the other. That's perfect, no problem. You can actually even transport items from one side to the other on your robot. So say you want to get your treasure chest from one side of the board to the other. Stick it on your robot, you can transit that way. Let's say you don't have a program like that, but you need to get to the other side. So there's a couple little clever ways to do that as well. If you launch your robot from inside the red or the blue, whichever side you're stuck on, and you launch it into the playing field, anywhere out of the launch area completely, the robot can then be interrupted by either side. So let's say you're stuck in red, you want to get to blue, you don't have a transit program, just launch it into the playing field. Now, a blue side technician can walk over from anywhere on the board and grab that robot and bring it back to blue. You will lose a precision token, but you have successfully rescued the robot back to the blue side. Do be careful about this. If you launch your robot from the red trying to get to the blue, it does not completely get out of the red and you touch the robot. It still comes back to the red and you lose a precision token. So you've accomplished nothing but losing a precision token and time. Okay. So the other way to get it over there, it's still interrupting your robot. If you know that you need the robot on the blue side and it's heading back to the red side, interrupt the robot before it gets to the red and bring it to the blue. So you don't have to lose the time of relaunching, a dummy program to get it out. So if your technicians are aware of what they need to have happen, like I said, if you're, like say you triggered the squid or whatever, and you want to go to the other side, as soon as that's done and clear of the model, have your other technician rescue it directly over. So you're going to save some time there. So there you go. I'm done. Anybody?
So I have a question on that. Can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Sure.
Yep. Let's open it up.
If they're zooming it from the red to the blue side, can it bounce off the wall on the black on the black part of the table?
Yeah, sure.
And then they can pick it up at any point.
Okay, so if they have a transit program, it doesn't really matter. So if they're going from red to blue and it hits the wall or any mission, it doesn't really matter what it hits. As long as it's outside of the red completely, a blue technician can pick it up and move it over. You'll lose a precision token, but they have successfully accomplished their goal of moving it over.
If it stops in the black part of the board instead of in the actual corner, or
goes all the way
instead of
through.
being on the playing mat.
Mhm. So if it goes all the way, you're launching from red, it goes straight from left to right through the blue launch area and into that black area there. That's what you're asking?
That's exactly what I'm asking.
Okay, fantastic. That is fine so long as the robot is completely within that. I keep calling them boots. They look like little feet. As long as the robot is completely within that area when the robot is interrupted, that is fine.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
It doesn't have to go through the launch area. It can go diagonal. It can go up to the top right side of the blue area as well. Anywhere in there, yeah. As long as your robot's completely in home, you don't have to go through home or through launch. Anything in home or the launch area is safe for them to touch. So as long as it's completely in and everything it's touching.
Okay. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right. So, again, congratulations to all the teams that have advanced thus far. Good luck to the teams that still have yet to participate in their regional. The next Zoom call, Nick, you're going to be here next Monday. So Nick is the tournament director of the Brown County Regional, and we also expect to have the tournament director of the Whitewater Regional on the Zoom call next Monday. So
Are you going to have Riverside as well, since it's the week later would be the day before?
Yep, thank you. That would be Riverside as well. Well, we could have him on Monday. All right, to be determined.
Quick question on that Riverside. I did notice on the calendar, it's not on the first Wisconsin calendar.
It's not on the first Wisconsin calendar. Okay.
First Inspires Wisconsin.
I can notify Renee, I guess,
Okay.
unless somebody else on the.
I think I have access. Let me see if I can fix it first, Craig.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about being interested in maybe judging. But
They could sure use it. Let's say that much.
okay, I'll look into that then.
Well, you would go
I
to
will try
the
that.
First Inspires volunteer tab. It better be there. It has
What
to
I'm
be
looking
there.
at right now, I'm almost
It was there. It was there earlier today. I was looking at.
I did not go to the volunteer. I only went to the calendar.
I can confirm it is there on the first hub. Under the,
I help run the state website, so I think I have access to that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Allison, you're in charge. Thanks, Michael.
yeah, please volunteer, Michael. That'd be great to see you there.
Yeah, I think I can do that one actually. So
Good.
I'll give it a good old try. So, all right. Thank you guys.
All right, very good. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Oh, hang on, we have something in chat. Oh, that's Allison. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't have my chat on.
Nope, we're good.
Sorry,
We're
we're
good.
good.
It's covered.
Okay, see you later, guys. Good
All
luck.
right.